jump in here and let everybody know that from January the 6th, the 12th night, till my birthday, which is February 14th, I will be going live every single day on Instagram. Why am I doing this? Well, it's 33 days from a Monday to Saturday. We skip Sundays because Sundays are for me. But it's a Monday through Saturday, live with me every single day to get to know me, get to know how you can work with me, and really dive deeper into my story of my last 33 years on the planet, as I will be turning 34. So I'm very excited about that. If you want to just come check it out and come hang, you can ask me questions on the fly. There's nothing to really register for. It's literally just jump on my live. It'll be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's January 6th to February 14th.
Hello. We have Michael in the house.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. It was so nice that you decided to jump in. I love that. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about men's mental health, specific to the men. Yes, the masculines. And yeah, why don't you start telling everybody who you are and how you came to be here with us today?
Yeah, my name's Mike. How I came to be here. I got an Instagram and most of the message was around, men's mental health, my mental health, sharing my experiences and putting out positive stuff on my account to help others. And to be honest, it was everyone's it was everyone, men and women. It wasn't just concentrated on men's. But now going into the new year, I'm going to be a lot more focused on men's. I think that's where the greater need is, should I say, of support. So I'm going to be focused on that more. So I decided to start up my YouTube channel 2 years ago. And that was just to create a safe space, the King's Forum podcast show. It was to create a safe space for people to speak their truth. And the core of it all is mental health and mindset. I do venture out and do hot topics and things like that, but always go back to the core, and that's all around mental health and mindset. So again, just going to be expanding on that in the new year. I'm going to be looking to take my video camera out on tour and start meeting people all around the UK and be filming at certain locations. So yeah, we're looking just to expand that and to just basically evolve. It's all about growing and becoming better, and it, as I said, maybe just narrowing it down and concentrating a lot more on men's mental health in particular. So yeah, that's how I got here.
That's amazing. I love the progression. I mean, right now I'm like the bedroom and beyond, and I'm all about, getting to the root of who you are. Authenticity is key. But there's a lot of like mindset shifting and mental health that's wrapped in all of that, which people sometimes don't realize. And it starts with who you're being, right? So if your mind is kind of crazy and not functioning properly, it's no wonder that you show up in a different way.
100%.
So just giving people the space and freedom to figure out who they are in a safe way. Because there's so many things out there. There's so many things going on right now that it's like, is it okay to talk about this here? Is it okay? And I want people to feel, yes, it's okay. So thank you so much for being here and really talking about this. It's a curiosity of mine, as most of my clients for my in-person tantric healing they're mainly men. And
really?
They are. I would say 95% of them are men. And a lot of times people come in for one reason and they come out and having more found appreciation for the time just to slow down and actually be themselves. As far as I understand, men don't really have as much outlet as women inside of, you know, mindset shifting and figuring out things, because you're the leader, you're the protector, you're the provider, you have to be the man, but we forget that you're also human.
Yeah.
So I really want to kind of dive into like, how do we start to invite men into this container? Because all women really want is for people, men specifically, to do the work and change and be whatever they want them to be. But if we're not inviting them in, how on earth are they ever going to get there?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm with you. Totally.
I'm with you. And maybe I have a soft spot for men because I work so closely with them. And it's not to take away from the women's experience, but it's like, for me, it's both. I have empowering women to see their worth, to have confidence in who they are, to set boundaries, to be, you know, who they got to be. And then on the flip side, the men, we want men to treat us with respect and all these things, but it's like, if I don't respect myself, I don't do the work and love myself, how on earth is that man supposed to do what I want him to do for me? And then that's how I show men to really, like, what is it that you need?
Yeah.
Most times I ask them a simple question like, what is it that you want?
Yeah.
And they A, give me a look like I have 7 heads, or B, they'll start talking about something else, someone else, the family, the things, the work. And it's like, so
I hear you.
that's where I'm at. I would love to know your experience, your point of view of what stops men from speaking out of what they need specifically.
Okay.
And also, like, what is it that you need from us as a society, as women, as a support? What do we need more of?
What stops men from speaking out, firstly, is it's a fear. It's of how we're perceived. You mentioned us being a protector, the person who wants to be, in traditional terms, the provider, the strong one. So that's what stops us, is because it's almost going against that, and it makes us feel that we will be perceived as being weak. We'd see, being vulnerable is seen as a weakness rather than a strength. In the traditional ways of being masculine or the alpha male, we see it as it's seen as a weakness. So, and you got to remember, we are basically told all these things as a young boy, and the male influences in our life and the cultures we're brought up in and the environments we're brought up in, that men should be this particular way. So the woman should be the one who's crying and sad. We should be protecting them and comforting them, and the shoulder to cry on. And no one ever mentions like how we feeling and how we should deal with our emotions. It's just kind of, the old talk about manning up and, don't cry, be strong. All these terms I heard as a young boy. So I couldn't display how I was really feeling, because it'd come across as weakness, and people take advantage of that. I thought. So it was all these things that we are shown and part of as growing in the environments that we grow up in, and that's why, and so that stops us from wanting to, because how are we going to be perceived? Who's going to listen? This woman that I'm seeing or married to, my partner, whatever, is going to perceive me as weak. So all of these fears, it's all about fear. It's all about afraid, and going back to, as we said off camera, is wearing that mask of who we actually are. We're afraid to take that off, because what if the people we love don't love us anymore, or actually just feel that we are not the people they want us to be. We're not the strong protective types anymore. We're weak and more vulnerable and susceptible to have been taken advantage of. So I think it's more around that, to why we don't, it's all in our heads about how we're perceived. And that's what we battle with all the time as men is, can I say that? Can I behave like that? How is she going to see me? How are my peers going to see me? How are my workmates going to see me? No, I've got to portray this image because that's how they expect me to be. Or that's how I think they expect me to be in those environments and behave. So it's all around that. It's all around fear.
100%. And thank you for that. I mean, from a women's perspective, like, we don't think you guys think that. We're too busy running our own commentary of fear, which sounds like, oh, my body's not good enough. Oh, I don't have good hair. Oh, like, it's so like, sounds different, but it's the same underlining thing. It's just fear that we perpetuate. And being human, the human condition is, we're meaning making machines.
Yeah.
So we make all the things mean from our past experiences, our conditioning, things we saw in a movie. Like, it's crazy. It's like, where in all of that is our own mind? How are we truly supposed to know that that's us thinking or like hearing that, if we don't know how to separate, okay, that's my fear talking, and this is me actually wanting or needing this thing right here, right now? So fascinating. Wow.
It is. And for me, it's communication, isn't it? Between the two of us. So
Absolutely.
women I've seen it a lot on Instagram in particularly recently, about, this whole spiritual finding yourself for women. And I always kind of compare like the men I follow and how different that is, and how they go along this path. And it's I think, it's about understanding each other and wanting to, because a lot of situations I've been in, and women in my life, they seem to be, we're doing our thing, and and not wanting to explain what path they're on or anything. It's kind of like, we're doing this, but I expect you to be strong, I expect you to be vulnerable, and I expect you to get what we're up to and the path we're taking and understand it all. And the explaining and kind of break it down for someone to understand and maybe accept as well, kind of your path. And I think it's around understanding and communication. I think if you got that, and then we can be on the right path, instead of this whole, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I think a lot of men just feel like, I don't know what they're up to. I don't know how they're going about their, because we go about this very differently. So seeing you doing that, and there's no explain, you just expect us to get it. You should get us. You should understand where I'm coming from. And it's like, well, sometimes we need it explained to us, and we need a bit of the understanding, because we are different. We are different. We're very.
I will say, ladies, men are great at direction if you are clear. When we sit here, this is a topic that I talk about. It's like, when we sit here and expect a man to know exactly what we want, and I'm talking in the bedroom here, okay? You're lost. You're already lost. The communication is what's going to have you understand each other, because there's so many things to be responsible for. It's like, I may not love you the same way or receive love the same way. I may like this thing that I saw in a movie once, but I'm not going to explain it to you because you should have Googled it by now. I'm sorry, what? And at the base, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, for me, it's all about intention. I, myself as an individual, try my best to live my life intentionally, mindfully, whatever you want to call it, because then you actually slow down and understand the purpose of why we're doing said things, whether that's dating someone, having intimate times with someone or self, or even just having a conversation. Like, I definitely have a boundary around people coming at me with their stuff, because I don't even know if I'm ready for that. Like, what's the intention? Do you want my advice? Do you want me to just sit here and listen, hold space for you? Like, what do you need? And we want to start that conversation more and more, because that'll actually allow people to have the space to think for themselves.
Definitely.
And personally, this is me, but I need someone to ask me questions to get to where I want to go. So it's like, do you want to go here or do you want to go here? Don't just go, where do you want to go? Because my mind will just like forever have a running tally of things that I need to do or want to do or whatever else. But if it's like, you give me 2 options, maybe even 3 options, I will better know where I want to go, because my body will tell me. And then that for me is intentional, because it's like, I actually want that. I'm not doing it to make you happy. I want that. But I already know you want the same thing because you said it.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Don't
So
presume.
yes, without presuming. So I always say, like, when people have a hard time making decisions, I always say, just like, give me your options. What would you like to do? And I will choose the one that resonates with me the most.
I love that.
Which is really simple.
And us men
Yes.
are very simple creatures.
Yes, you guys are. Women, you complicate everything.
Simplify it. Just simplify it as basic as you can. You know, let's simplify. Like you said, give them the options. Decide. Yeah.
Right. And you both get what you want, instead of fighting about, you didn't give me what I wanted.
Exactly. And it's the biggest thing, anyway. That's the biggest breakdowns I always see from hearing from friends, from relationships I've been in previously. Communication.
Oh, 100%. If I had to narrow it down, like what this is all about, it's like conscious communication.
Yeah. It's all that's men and women. Communication. That's the biggest thing. It breaks down or helps the relationship evolve, keeps the relationship going or falls apart. Communication.
Yeah.
In the bedroom, verbally, consciously. Communication.
Yeah. And how you deal with things. Because, like, if I'm having an emotional breakdown nowadays, this wasn't me for a long time, but nowadays I'll actually say, like, I'm having an emotional breakdown, like, just, and I've already explained to the partner or person that I'm seeing, like, how I deal with those things. Again, it's like, maybe you find comfort in like leaving them alone, but they actually need you to be there with them when they're having, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like, again, communication. What works for you? And it doesn't matter what it is, just say what it is. And if you're not sure, get curious and be like, I don't know if this will work, but let's try this.
Yeah.
Life's a game anyways. Why not put it on like practice mode? You know, like, if life is a game and there's all these rules and the things we got to do, how do you level up? You start ignoring your past. You start healing your past, not letting it be in the driver's seat. And if you want to try something on newly and you're freaking scared, you put yourself in practice mode.
You definitely have to do that.
Intention.
That's very important. And your second question was?
Oh, yes. Tangibles. Okay. I think I forget now. But more or less, like, inside of men's brains.
Okay.
Okay, we talked about like fear stops them from even like speaking out about what they need. And it's like, what goes on for you when that like shame piece kicks in? Or like when you, like, what does it sound like for you when it's like, I'm not good enough, or like, I'm not being the provider? What is it inside that is like, you decide that, let's say, with like without the communication?
So within myself, what am I feeling when I feel the shame?
Yeah, like what is that experience for you?
Awful. You know what it feels like? It feels like that boy I was, you know, in a traumatic childhood, that experience that I had is being that little boy again, helpless. And that's a horrible feeling, because, you know, when my dad was being violent towards my mom, I wanted to help, but I couldn't. I'm so small.
Mm.
So I go back to that again. I go back to the childhood trauma. When I don't feel enough, I feel like that little boy again, the helpless little boy who, you know, doesn't have the emotional intelligence, hasn't done the unlearning and the work I've done. I'll just go back to square one, it feels like back to the drawing board. So it's a very helpless space, that is, for me. So I go back to um if I was going to be beaten, running upstairs and locking myself in the bathroom. I go back to that again, but it's all back to the little boy, the child, you know, always when I feel like that, feeling hopeless or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So then I take, to get myself out of that, I take where I am right now,
Mm-hmm.
a man who has experienced thing and has that, who has done the healing and has done a lot of unlearning. And, you know, I knock on that bathroom door and I speak to my younger self and I say, you know what, everything's going to be all right. And this is a moment you are going through, and you are enough. All the things I wish someone actually did tell me when I was that little, experiencing these things. And that your vulnerability and this mask you wear, you know, you take that mask off, and that's actually a superpower of yours. And, you know, you're going to help many people through that strength of yours. It's actually a strength, the fact that you can connect easily to it. That's going to help your relationships. That's going to help you in your career, because you can sense, you pick up other people's energies and their vibes, and that vulnerability helps you read people. So it's a strength, and don't worry, everything's going to be all right. So I'll go back to that. So then that's how I come from that point of a little boy to me now as the man, and being able to have these open conversations without thinking, oh no, someone's going to see me as this weak guy or whatever. And I know it's a strength, and I know that's a superpower of mine.
Which I love. It's something I've touched on in one of my workshops called What's Your Superpower? And it's all around finding what your superpower is in that context of, you know, how do you pull yourself out? Or I've always told, your mess is your message. So there's some piece of it that is like an opportunity or a lesson or something that people can carry into their lives, because that's why I do what I do, because of everything I've experienced. And I don't want people to feel alone and not knowing who they are authentically, because they have the bombardment of society and culture and religion and all the things that could just shape your view of who you think you are, i.e. that mask. So
100%. There's so many things, so many exterior, so much external noise and toxicity around us, that, you know, you need to find your place where you can wash all of that off and still exist in a true and authentic way. And that's hard, because you can get lost in that, you know, that can stay on you, that toxicity, and, you know, you could take you over.
yeah.
And you get lost and forget who you actually are. So it's always important to do the things that help you remain true to you, because that's all I ask of when I do stuff, you know, whether things work out or not, I've stayed true to me, so I can always reflect on that. Because I think the biggest disappointments in life come from when you're not, when you're feeling like you have to be someone else to fit in or to succeed. I have to change me. But like you said, it's our superpower, so we need to embrace our true selves and who we really are, and run with that, you know, and lean into it.
Lean in. That's a good one. I was chuckling for a moment there because that's something that's something I've come across in my journey of becoming an online presence with coaching and healing and all those things. And, you know, there's days where I try to do it a way that I think I should be doing it because that's the way people are doing it. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you, it doesn't feel good. And I wonder why no one shows up, because it's not really authentic and true to my soul, my journey, and what I want to do. But we have this idea that we have to, you know, for me anyway, this is personal, but it's like you have to be a good girl, do as you're told. Now, when I don't have anyone necessarily telling me what to do, I assume that this is what I should be doing, but it's not necessarily true. So I love the piece where you said about, you know, knocking on that bathroom door and speaking to your younger self, because that's like what is known as inner child work for anyone that doesn't know about that technique. It's something I do as well. I actually talk to my little self daily because there are always some external thing that's going to activate you, going back to that past of, oh, I'm here again. It's always going to be present. The activation will always be there, but what happens over time, and I know you know this, Mike, but this for people that don't, is that it lessens.
Mm.
The feeling isn't as strong, or the frequency of when it happens is very, very minimal. So that it still reminds you that you were that person, but now you can see the other side and see how empowered you get to be with, I don't need to live over there anymore. I know what the other side looks like. It looks like what I am now. And we also have this technique called the better feeling thought. So when you're in a low point and you can feel yourself spiraling, before you get to the bottom, think about a time that made you extremely happy, or think about a time when you had a win and you were like, I did that. I did that. And it actually pulls you out of this, like, I'm not good enough or triggered response or any of those things. And that's something I utilize, I'm going to say daily, because I'm someone who doesn't acknowledge herself as often as I could be.
That's it.
Right? And it doesn't need to be a huge win. It could be a small thing, especially those darker days. If you got out of bed, that's a win.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That it definitely reminds me about the relationship that we have with ourselves, and being kind to ourselves, being loving to ourselves. You know, we want to thrive in relationship with ourselves, then we need to be positive about how we treat ourselves, take care of ourselves, to self-love, treat ourselves. You know, so it's that's what it reminds me of. And I think that's very key to always think about that. How we talk, are we really beating ourselves up about not doing something the right way, or, you know, not ticking off everything on that to-do list? You know, let's give ourselves the love and realize that we're human. You know, what, we are imperfect. We are perfectly imperfect. So we're not going to be ticking everything on our list every day. Some days the motivation is going to be lacking. So you may just tick one thing on that list, but you've done something. Let's celebrate all these little wins and let's run with it instead of beating ourselves up. You know, listen, the world we live in, they're going to be critical enough about us. So we don't need to add to that list of people that are going to be judging us and be critical. So, you know, there's enough of people out there going to do it anyway. So, you know, let's actually
Don't jump on that bandwagon.
people, it doesn't matter what you do, people are going to have something to say. You just can't win that, but you can win it with yourself, because we can control that.
Yeah.
We can control that relationship. It's down to us. You're not relying on someone else. We're relying on ourselves to look after ourselves first and foremost. And then once we do that, we can start looking after others and helping others. But first of all, you need to start with number one, and that's you.
Yeah, that's definitely the conversation I've been having lately, is like leading yourself powerfully in any circumstance. Because if you can do that, you can do that for other people. When you operate from, I'm still healing and I'm trying to heal others at a different level, it doesn't really work. You can only provide service or heal up until the point that you are healed or been of service to yourself.
100%.
That was a big aha for me back in the day when I was just like always giving, always people pleasing, always like, what can I do for you? And I was the nice girl, like Dee would do anything for you, like all the time. And then I was left with, I hate my life. And nobody knew.
You was wearing that mask again, weren't you?
I was. But I decided a long time ago that I was going to take that thing off. Maybe only wear it for Halloween.
That's a good
right? Like, it's like, if you want to wear a mask, wear it on Halloween and then be done with it. You know, like you get one day of the year that you're allowed to wear it.
But all that people pleasing is just about you wanted to be loved.
Absolutely.
That's all it is. We want to be loved. I was the same. I'll do so much for other people and then realize, and after all of that, there's nothing left of me. So, you know, giving out so much energy and, you know, my battery is empty at the end of the day. You know, I'm trying, you just want to be loved. You want to, you know, you want to show people that, you know, you're enough. I'm wonderful, but I'm going to make you love me. By showing you all this love, you're going to love me by the end of it. And no, that's not true. You know, it's give and take in any relationship, friendships, family, whatever it is, romantic.
Yes.
You know, it's give and take. You know, you can't be the only one giving. You know, there's compromise, give and take. And that's a true thriving, healthy relationship. Not one person in there just giving all the love, showing the love and giving it all, and they got nothing left and they feel like nothing at the end of the day.
No.
Which is
so that begs the question, how do you personally show yourself love?
That's a good question. And the older I get, it's easier because the relationship has grown. So now I would a nice hot bath. See, my thing's all about cooking and baking and that mindfulness, that connection with it. Long walks, watch a nice movie, a particular show, but don't get lost in that.
Good idea.
Have a conversation with someone, a really close friend or really close family member. So that's how I take care of myself. Just things that make me happy. And give myself that space. We talked about space and creating that space for yourself, and giving myself space when I need to cry or I need that moment alone. I make sure I do that, and I communicate that to my wife and people around me. No, actually, I'm not feeling great today. I'd rather be left alone. They understand that, and I just say, look, I'm not up to that today. I need some me time. I'm gonna go and chill out. Go and watch a football match, soccer, should I say, to your American viewers. Go and chill out and enjoy that. So these things, when I need it, I'm listening to my body, how it communicates. I need rest. Okay, let me go and rest, actually. I was going to go and do that, but I can feel it. I can feel that I'm tired, I'm worn out, and all the signs are there. Body's always communicating to us on a regular, you know. I need to do a bit of meditation now, just clear my head and a bit of calm. I need to do a bit of journaling now because I feel like my head's chaotic. I need to empty that and write that down, what's going on in my head. And it's that communication. It takes time. It's not an easy thing. This has taken years of practice and listening and developing the relationship I have with me. And now it's a lot easier. Now I'll just have those moments. I'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to chill out today. I'm not going to go out. And be honest to people and not feel I have to please them, because and that's another thing with experience, age, and growing as a person is that communication thing. You're not as worried about pleasing people to the detriment of your own well-being. So that you live a lot more in a balanced way, where you are like, right, if this is gonna tip me over, I don't think I'm gonna do that because my body's telling me I should rest tonight. So why should I go out with the boys and go and party and go and have fun when I know I'm gonna feel like shit the next day because my body actually needs rest now. So can I put it off to another time? Or if I do go out, it's not gonna be late. I'm gonna go and spend a couple of hours, not drink, come back, chill, and then relax. So it's a balance, isn't it? But it's putting you first instead of other people. Because a lot of people are putting themselves first in the mix and saying, "Oh no, yeah, come out, you're the life and soul of the party," because they need you and they want to feed off your energy, and they're not thinking about you; they're thinking about themselves. So be careful about those situations and friendships and relationships, and watching out for you, because a lot of people are looking at themselves first rather than you first, and saying, "Oh, actually, Mike, yeah, you've had a long week. Maybe this week won't be a good night to go out. Maybe we should do it another week when you let us know." They don't say that. They just got their own focus about themselves as the primary thing. And as I said, a lot of people just are using your energy, your vibe, to take that because they need it, because they don't have it themselves.
Yes. And they always say, like, you're the product of your environment, and you're also like the 5 people that you surround yourself with. That's basically you. So if you're not liking who you're hanging around, it's time to change.
Choose your tribe.
Choose your tribe.
Choose your tribe.
Instead of fitting in, choose your tribe, because it'll feel like home. So for people that are not you, because all of those things are bloody wonderful, and I agree, I do the exact same thing about either I need to meditate or journal, or then when you said the bath, oh, my heart and soul.
How great is that?
It's so good. I love it.
Burning some incense.
Just like
a little bath bomb.
Right? And I do that for myself as much as possible. So I actually have dedicated time, 2 hours before bed, no technology, no TV, no nothing. I have a list of things I get to do for me, and then whatever my body wants, I do that thing, and that's it.
I think, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think because I think that's a big point you made there. I think that's major amongst everything I've said. I think a key thing was no social media. Everything I've just said, switch off from the matrix. Disconnect from that matrix. All the coding, all the brainwashing. Just switch off from that and just sit with you and in your headspace. Because it's, as I said, about the outside noise and the toxicity about our environment sometimes, and social media is that plug into it. You want to feel that toxicity and that poison. To put on your phone and go into Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. That sucks you back in. We're gonna sell you this. We're selling you a life. We're selling you an image. This is how to look. This is what to say. This is how to behave. This is what you should be reading. This is who you should be listening to. This is who you should be dating.
That was gonna be my question, is like, what would you suggest for someone who wants to make the change but doesn't know how, doesn't know where to start? And I think that's probably a good place, is just like get off the social media.
So take a little break for a bit. Do something else. Read a book. Read books.
Yes, I actually admire people that don't even have social media.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
For me, and I don't want to say this, but it's kind of true, where the only reason I kept social media was to have a platform for business wise.
So important though for marketing.
It is.
It's huge.
But differentiating between dedicate, again, with being intentional. What is this time for? Are you going to be scrolling? I intentionally scroll now. I give myself 10 minutes at every given whatever. I give myself 10 minutes to scroll. And then I have a lock on my phone for each app. So it's it'll actually shut it down after 15 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
I've set it like that. So your phone does have capabilities to help you with such social media addictions and things on your phone. So I utilize them. Now, it wasn't easy at the start. I was a phone addictor. I was like, messages, messages, people need me, people need me. Oh my God, I'm valuable, I'm valuable. No,
You're just a number.
just a number. So yes, if anyone is interested in getting started with, even if it's just a new routine, how to say no, how to shut off the phone, like, it's not as easy as saying you're going to do something.
It's not.
Because your psyche, your ego, your old pattern system will tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't and resort back to your old ways. It's just like quitting smoking. Oh, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm like, you've been a smoker for 20 plus years. You're going to quit smoking tomorrow?
Not going to happen. It's a process.
Process.
You know,
So,
we got to be aware of that and set ourselves realistic expectations and targets, because it just makes it worse in the long run if we're being unrealistic and saying, yeah, I'm going to quit tomorrow, I'm coming off. It's not going to happen.
no, you're going to go crazy. But it's like this magical thinking, or just being like, for me personally, I used to have very high expectations, and sometimes I still creep in where it's like the expectation's so high that it's actually becomes a sabotage strategy, where it's like, see, I told you you couldn't do it, or see, I'm not this, I might as well just go back to my old way. This is how my brain is. This is how I am. Da, da, da. It's like,
Yep.
But did you actually decide? Or are you letting outside circumstances, social media, tell you all the reasons why not, or why you should stay the same? Because you want to fit in for some god-awful reason. It feels crappy, but it feels familiar, and that's why you stay.
Yeah.
It's a comfort. It's like, I'm so scared of the unknown that I don't dare step outside this box.
FOMO.
Guess what? I'm Mrs. Step outside the box, and I have been ever since I stepped outside the womb. So I'm just... You like my one-liners today? Like,
You're just on it.
leave it there for you. My next career will be some kind of comedy thing.
I think you can do it. You have that personality, though. I can see it. I can see you doing stand-up.
Well,
You have that personality about you. Like you got a very fast mouth.
Very witty.
Witty. There you go. That's a better way of putting it. You know, you just come up with them, punchlines, and you're just like that. I'm impressed.
My last name is Whitfield, so like, I always
exactly.
say, I always say, I'm like, they don't call me Witty Whitfield for nothing.
I like that. See.
But yeah, it's a time. So to all men, to all people, but men specifically, if you're struggling or shying away from speaking your truth, or feeling like you're weak for having emotions or needing to cry or any of that stuff, I want to tell you that it's okay. In this container, it's safe. It is okay to be who you need to be. You are a human being. And to all the people that judge and ridicule you, I'm sorry for them in advance. Times are changing, though. And it takes us, the individuals that are changing, to step outside and speak up and do the things that are in alignment with us to have the lasting change. Because it's like the process of wanting to change anything in yourself. It's not going to happen overnight. God only knows if it'll happen in my lifetime, but I am a stand for people getting who they are so they can live a life that they love, notwithstanding circumstances. So even though it may look like it'll never happen, you're going to plug through every day because that's what you want. No matter what it is, if it's in the bedroom, if it's in your career, your relationships, your family, just life. It's like, we need to all band together and like go after what we want, and just, you know, show the naysayers how to shift if they want to. I would never force anyone to change, but the change is possible and it's there ready waiting for you if you want it.
100%. But you know, the work's done with looking within yourself and finding out who you are. You know, and once you discover that, you know what you want out of life, and you know what no longer serves you. You will start finding your purpose and your path. You know, people look at it and think it's some magical thing when I mention those words about purpose and stuff, because it might be the simplest thing is your purpose. It doesn't have to be this major job or, you know, the next Bill Gates or you know, what's his name of Tesla, Elon Musk. You know, it doesn't have to be that major. It could just be like, you know what, you just discovered that you want to be a florist.
Great.
You want to, but it's your purpose, it's yours, and that's what it's personal to you. It's not about what the outside world thinks it should be. It's what you think and your heart, your soul, how you connect to it to make you feel whole and fulfilled. And that's the way of finding it. And the only way you're going to do that is by looking within yourself and do the inner work, do the healing. I was going to make a point about when you said about childhood and why it shows up. Why? Because I see it like grief. You're grieving your former self. Yeah. So that with grief, time is a healer. But within that, you're going to have these waves of emotions that show up every now and then, and it's important. But and again, the thing with time is you learn to manage this. You know your triggers. You know you then know how to process those emotions and how to deal with it. So you give yourself what you need instead of suppressing it. So as men, we do that a lot. We suppress our emotions. So then it comes up in another way. It could come out in a violent way, a very depressive manner. In other ways, it's never positive. So that's why it's all about processing it. So you don't have to be in this whole spiritual journey and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. But it's just about you sitting with how you're feeling and processing it and working through it, instead of trying to suppress it and saying, no, that's it. I don't want to feel this way. I feel vulnerable. I don't like the way it makes me feel exposed, naked, less of a man. You know, I don't like that. So I'm just going to push it down and hopefully it's going to go away. No, we need to process it and feel it and embrace it, because we're human beings and we all have feelings. Men, women, children, we all have feelings.
Sure
yeah,
do.
It's about, with time, knowing that it's important, we process it and move through it, lean into it.
Yes. And how you process it, totally up to you. I mean, I don't just sit on a mountaintop and meditate to, you know, process things. Sometimes I chop wood. Sometimes I'll listen to like screamo music and scream along with it and just like get that energy out, because emotions are just energy in motion. Yeah. And it's kind of like it's trapped. It's all like it's all like whatever the feeling is, it just needs to be released. So that could be rage against the machine. It could be crying. It could be having an orgasm. It could be like, it doesn't matter. But again, it's all inside of the intention behind, you know, this is what works for me.
100%.
Yes, when I found out that you can heal yourself through orgasm, I was like, hello? Why are we not prescribing more orgasms to people? Like, seriously. You're responsible for your own orgasms anyway. It's not like you're going to go out and just like, here, give me an orgasm. I need to heal. It's like, no. Just learn to love your body, yourself. And I'm going to tell you, as a tantrika, breathing is your best friend. Work is your best friend. It helps with stress and anxiety. Helped with my panic attack last week. It helps so much. And it helps you have multiple orgasms, FYI, and men included in that. So if you're interested, hit me up for that one.
Be careful. Be careful about that. This is YouTube. putting that out if you're interested. Just watch a
Oh, I
DM.
know. I want to see them blow up. Okay, to be clear for everyone that has the dirty ass mind going down, this is all inside of healing and spirituality.
Okay, yeah.
Connect spirituality and your sexuality and make them the most blissful time of your life, whether you're having orgasms or not.
Yeah, you got to clarify that. You need to be more specific. You know, you know how
Talking
people
about
men.
talking about energetics, energy, breathing energy up and out.
Yeah.
Kundalini, look it up.
That's hilarious.
Well, you got to have some fun. And I think this is another, like, when we're talking about superpowers, this is another superpower I have. Not only do I allow people to feel safe and understood, but I also have this, like, cheekiness about me where I'll crack a joke as comic relief so they don't take life so significantly.
Listen, that's important. We need to going back to the inner child again. How important is that to have fun with everything we do?
I was listening to, I think it was a TED Talk or some kind of like snippet of a TED Talk about erotic energy. I know I'm talking about this again, but erotic energy is playful energy. So even when you're talking about inner child, like, it's playful stuff. So make sure everything and anything you do is playful. Even if it's like cutting the grass or some mundane task you don't want to do, it's like, how can I make this playful? How can I make a game out of this? How can I make this enjoyable? And watch how things shift in your relationships, in the way you speak, in the way you are as a being. Because honestly, we just need a little more joy in our lives.
100%. I'm with you. That's so important. You know, how dark this world can seem sometimes, but you know, we can make, you know, we control how we can experience things, how we add to our environments, what we make of our environments. That's what we control. That's what I always focus on. You know, when I think about what's going on in the world at times, I'm more thinking about what can I control. So many things out of our hands. We can't save this world, but we can do our little bit. We can be a bit greener ourselves. We can, you know, ethically sourced products and things like that, and you know, we can do our bit, and that's all I focus on, because the rest of it's out of our hands. I can't get down about everything, but what I can do, this bit of light I show and the people I come in contact with and speak to, connect with, I shine my light as bright as I can.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. On that note, I think we should give the viewers a break. As we could probably talk for days on end about anything and everything here. So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that you are you. And I admire you for many reasons. One being that you're very authentic, such as myself. You take no shit. You're like, this is what I need. I love it.
True.
And just so everybody knows, Mike here is the person that inspired me to start this channel in the first place. So
I forgot that.
yeah, I've forgotten that bit, eh?
I did. I forgot we had that conversation. Yeah.
Finally having you on is a like really, really cool thing for me. So thank you.
You're welcome. We finally did it.
We did it! Woo! Tell the media they're on it. Across the pond, eh?
Yeah, this link is good. It's good. We, you know, that's what it's about. And maybe we talk about what we talked off camera in another episode.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah. We'll bring some light on that. We're not going to reveal anything. It'll be the rise into the next episode, and we'll have a chat on that and have a deep discussion, you know, about us wearing masks.
You're gonna be a repeat guest.
I like that.
Actually, that'll be perfect because I am creating something in the background known as the Unmasked series. So, love for you to be part of that.
That'd be great.
Cool. Well, folks, the time has come. We must bid you adieu.
Cool. People, peace and love.
Peace and love.
and light.
and light. Shine the light on.
Thank you for listening.
And thanks for listening. You're awesome.